All right, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the time Tim Dillon got in a fight with the owners of an Airbnb he was staying at, and it got pretty ugly, and eventually he ended up getting permanently banned from Airbnb after he threatened to, I think, burn down their house because they left him a bad review and said he's a terrible guest. So he went on his podcast and talked about it and just went off on them, and the whole thing was just hilarious. So this happened in early 2021 when Tim Dillon's career really started to take off. You know, he's making a good amount of money, and he was just living out of Airbnbs. So he got this high-end one in Joshua Tree, and it cost $1,500 a night. But as you can tell from these pictures, this doesn't really look like the best house for Tim Dillon. You know, this is more of like an art piece or something. You know, I'm sure most people go in there just doing shrooms and ayahuasca and stuff, and their main focus isn't having a feast. Like, usually if you're tripping, the last thing you're thinking about is eating. So this kitchen, I don't think is prepared for what Tim Dillon had in store for it. And I don't know if Tim just booked this without looking at any of the pictures or somebody booked it for him, because afterwards when he's complaining about it, he acts like he had no idea what this house looked like beforehand. Like, he complains a lot about the chairs, but I mean, they show all these pictures on Airbnb, and they are very strange chairs that probably aren't the best for somebody Tim's size. So I don't know why he would choose this house, but it sounds like somebody probably chose it for him. Like he said, he was just told he was going to a luxury compound in Joshua Tree.
We had a real issue with Airbnb. I have done nothing but be respectful to the people, to the homes that I rent. I have done nothing. You understand? I do not get bad reviews on Airbnb because I treat people with respect. Now, let's describe some of the issues. Number one, I was told I was going to a luxury compound in Joshua Tree. Luxury means something very specific to me, okay? It doesn't mean necessarily stylized, high concept, and artistic. It means luxury. It means fluffy couches and nice carpets, luxury. I feel luxurious. You understand?
Yes.
We went to a nice thing in Joshua Tree, which is the place where all people in the tech industry go to take mushrooms. And we go to Joshua Tree, which is really just, it's a litter box for drug addicts. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's a litter box for drug addicts. And I know that a lot of people like it, but that's what it is, and that's who you are. So we go to this litter box for drug addicts, and they've stuck a little house on the edge of the cliff, and we can all go see the desert and, take a bunch of drugs and see Satan or whatever.
And I don't know why he'd want to go to Joshua Tree in the first place. I mean, he makes it sound like it would be the last place he'd want to go. But maybe he just thought, I'll try it out, see what it's all about. But it's clearly not his thing, especially this house. Like, all the furniture looks really small, and I don't know if there's any TVs anywhere, and the kitchen looks pretty small. And I don't think Tim's really there to admire the design of it, or like the style, or like some of the art pieces, or like stare at a plant, or go outside or something, He's just there to be comfortable and eat, basically, which I'm not hating on. That's cool, but obviously this is the last place you want to go if that's what you're looking for. And it's crazy that he's spending $1,500 to stay at this place. And it's funny because originally Tim actually left a 5-star review for the property, and he said, "Truly breathtaking, once-in-a-lifetime property, perfect for a retreat, truly amazing." But I think he said that because the lady messaged him afterwards and said the cleaning crew had a heart attack because the house was so messy. But she said, "Could you please leave a 5-star review?" So maybe he thought if he left a really good review, she would forget about the mess and leave him a good review. But that did not happen, and she said, "Very bad guest, broke our bar stools, clogged our toilets, broke our cactus, left our beautiful home we worked so hard on, a complete disaster." So this is what really set Tim off, because this is public. Other people could read this, and now people might not want to rent to him, and it makes him seem like a slob. So I'm sure he was embarrassed by it, and he addressed some of it on his podcast, and he denies breaking the cactus. He just says, "How the hell do you even break a cactus?" But then with the chairs, it seems like he might have broken a few, because he basically just says, like, "We're fat. What the hell do you expect? These chairs are not meant for fat people."
You accuse me of breaking a cactus? How do you even do that, you goofy bitch? Shut the fuck up. Okay, you slob. So I walk into your fucking house, which you can't even sit on the fucking floor. I got fat people here. They're 400 pounds. How are they going to sit on your cowhide chair that's a little thin thing of fucking leather? What are we supposed to do? This guy's 900 pounds. What are we going to do here? Okay? Every piece of furniture can't sodomize the guest. You have to have some fucking chair that works, like an actual fucking chair. Throw a beanbag in there. Okay? Not everybody's a 90-pound lesbian on ayahuasca that can perch on a fucking bird cage for the whole night. Okay, you freaks? Listen the fuck up. Talking to you. People are going to rent your house that are actual people that need actual furniture to actually sit. Not everything's a fucking trip to hyperspace. There's actual 3D reality that some of us have to fucking live in. We do nothing to the furniture. We literally don't damage any of the furniture. They have these kitchen stools that are concrete slabs. Mila, we work so hard for the... Shut up. Get a job. They're a concrete slab kitchen chairs, high-top kitchen chairs, okay, that are like art pieces. These are not chairs.
Right.
And then they have little stools that are made out of what? What was that, like hollowed out, so like marble or
the marble petrified wood?
Petrified wood or I don't know what it was.
It's just
but
tall, though.
It's a little stool
Yeah.
that you're supposed to sit. It's a tiny little table where your ass can't even fit on this small little thing of wood that you have to sit on and eat. I don't even know what, right? So they just want you doing drugs. Fine, listen, I get it. I got take the shrooms. But some people want to have a nice meal there. We treated that house like it had never been treated, with wholesome American food.
Yeah, so this rant is really funny, but it's also funny that he's acting like he had no idea what he was getting himself into. Like on Airbnb, in the pictures, you could see all these chairs. You could tell they are not meant for somebody who's 400 pounds. But it would be hilarious seeing Tim and whoever else he is with in that house. It was probably like a bull in a china shop, like just destroying everything in sight. Like Tim is probably the exact opposite of the kind of guest the owner would expect to stay at that house. But you know, she probably expects people to actually check out the pictures and be like, you know what, maybe this house isn't for me. It doesn't look like it'd fit what I'm looking for. But I don't know what happened with Tim here. And then Tim starts talking about the feast he had in this house. Oh my God. He said he went to the store. They bought a bunch of beans. They bought cheeseburgers. They bought fish. They bought 9 pints of ice cream and just went to town. So the whole thing about the clogged toilets, that's probably true too. You know, Tim probably annihilated that bathroom afterwards.
We went to Vaughn's in the desert and we got burgers and Bush's baked beans. And we cooked baked beans. And yes, beans explode when they're hot.
Yeah.
Whose fault is that? I didn't come up with the idea for the bean. They explode when they're hot. And then we wanted Gorton's fish. We got the Gorton's fish, which is very nice. The pre-breaded Gorton's fish and some tartar sauce. So baked beans, Gorton's fish with tartar sauce, cheeseburgers, and then 7 pints of ice cream so we could try. Just have a little ice cream testing. And we left a few dishes.
In the sink?
In the sink. A pot of exploded beans.
Yeah.
An extra tartar sauce I didn't even use that I said you can use. Some ice cream. I mean, the smell of the house was fish and bean.
Yeah.
But that's not my fault. You can have a cleaning crew. She's like, the cleaning crew complained. What is it? My fat maid over there probably complaining. But it's like, well, why are they complaining? They're supposed to be cleaning. Their job is to clean.
Yeah, so that house was probably gnarly afterwards. I wish we had some pictures, but if it smelled like fish and beans, of course, this lady is going to go nuts about it. I mean, this is not what she's expecting when she's renting out her, like, artsy house in Joshua Tree. You know, she is not expecting Tim Dillon to go in there and start cooking up beans and cheeseburgers and fish and all that stuff. Like, I think this is more of what they're expecting people to eat while they're there. You know, I saw this was one of the pictures for the Airbnb, like some little tiny piece of food that you'd probably get at, like, some classy restaurant. So I would have loved to see the owner's reaction when she walked into the house the next day and saw the mess that Tim left there.
So this bitch then texts me. She goes, our cleaning crew had a heart attack, LOL. So I'm like, okay. And then she goes, but please give us a good review so we stay on Airbnb. So here's the deal with Airbnb. We review each other. We don't know what we've said. If you're going to come reach out to me and ask me for a good review and acknowledge that the cleaning crew is like, oh, we got to wash some dishes. I'm like, okay, they're not mad. We didn't do anything. There's some dishes in the sink, but it is what it is. I paid a $400 cleaning fee.
400.
You stupid cunt.
Yeah.
Jonah and Mila. You fucking pigs. I'll burn your fucking house down, by the way. Anyway, I texted them that. I texted them I was going to burn their house down, and I sent them a gif of the Simpsons house burning. I'm like, I know where your house is. And they're like, are you threatening me? I'm like, let's just see what happens. I'm like, stay safe out there, you stupid desert dykes.
Yeah, so he was really worked up about this. And, you know, the owners of the house, they probably don't know he's a comedian. So him texting them that he's going to burn their house down, they're probably freaking the fuck out. And it's not like he's even really doing it to be funny. You know, he's actually pissed at them, and he probably wants to scare them a little bit and get them worried to try to get back at them. So this is a great feud. I wish we just had some pictures, though. You know, I want to know how bad it was. I feel like if you leave a review like that saying somebody just destroyed your house, I feel like you should have to post some pictures to prove it. But, you know, it does sound like Tim probably left it a mess. But also, I'm sure the owner's being a little dramatic. Since it's some high-end house, she probably expects people to go in there and just leave it spotless and treat it like it's an actual art piece. And people probably barely use the kitchen. So if she knew Tim was going to cook up beans in there, she probably would have just shut it down right away and told him to get out.
I will have God Hates Fags church outside of your fucking house every fucking day. I will get them out there every fucking night to fucking yell at the people renting your stupid drug den. Anyway, so I responded to her by saying, no one broke anything. Your house sucks. Because she said I was a bad guest. And then people are like, did this really happen? It's like, yeah, it really happened. I said, the furniture is unusable. You're not artists. Your home is wildly overpriced. True. You begged me for a good rating and then trashed me. The cleaning crew complained about cleaning. Who's your cleaning crew? There were some dishes. That is all. I don't really care about your reviews. I don't rent out my home to strangers like an animal. Good luck with everything in the future. The place is a dump, and it looks like it was furnished by drug addicts, which I imagine you are. Please get the help you need. If you want me to take you to an AA meeting or an NA meeting, I will. Go to IKEA. Get some actual furniture, which hopefully you can afford. Not everything has to be an art piece. And feel free to use the tartar sauce I left behind. Later, pig. And that's what I wrote to them on Airbnb, and no response. And then I sent a few that could have been considered quasi-threatening messages, but they were not threats. They were an art piece, like your furniture. They're not meant to be sat on or taken literally. I was doing an art piece. Yes. And it angered me because she shit on me publicly on Airbnb, which anyone can see, truly. And now I look like the bad guy. Jonah and Mila, fuck you. We didn't do anything.
Dishes were in the sink. The hot tub wasn't hot. You already paid $400 for a cleaning
If we're
fee.
not supposed to eat the Gorton's fish, why would they sell it at the supermarket? I made bowls of baked beans. I will not tolerate being disparaged publicly like that. You're clowns. You are not interesting, and you are not an artist. You are failures, and you are drug addicts. And I'm telling you right now, if you had any clue the holy hell that was about to rain down on you, you would fucking run. You would run out into the desert and sacrifice yourself. Because every day, I swear to Christ, every fucking day I wake up and I think about how to destroy you in that shithole. And I'll figure it out. And see, this is what I mean about the cops can't call me out on this because it's my right to kind of vent these frustrations. And I can't, because they can't knock on my door and say, hey, did you say you were going to kill these two dykes in Joshua Tree? I can't. This is what I mean. Do you see in real time I'm proving my point from the beginning of the show? That's why the show's entertaining. And I hope, and this show's a big show, I hope to God someone shows it to these people. And I will get in a high-profile war with both of you ladies.
So he was fired up about this, and he's probably lucky he didn't get in more trouble, like telling his audience to go after them and talking about how you're going to burn their house down and everything. That's probably not the best idea. And he said his lawyer told him this afterwards. He said he should dial it back a bit because obviously Tim is pretty unhinged here and he could get himself in some trouble. And he talked about it a little bit when he went on Joe's podcast soon after this. And Joe disagreed with him. He actually really liked the house and thought the chairs were cool. And he said Tim should have just done the dishes.
I was thrown off Airbnb. This is a fact. You did not support me on this.
I did.
You did not. You said he should have done the dishes. This was
Yeah,
your
you should have
quote.
done the dishes.
Joe.
But you shouldn't have been thrown off of Airbnb.
Okay. Well,
but you shouldn't leave dirty dishes.
Joe, we pay a $450 cleaning fee.
Oh.
Hazmat
Why'd you leave the
suits.
plates?
What do you mean? What?
Why didn't you just clean the plates?
Because this is a vacation.
Are you supposed to clean the plates?
I don't know what the rules are, but I don't like the service if that's the case. There's a few
This is
dishes in that
great
sink.
Tim Dillon, I want to buy this house. This is a great place.
Can you stop?
I like it.
Yeah, that.
Ooh, it's a hi-fi.
Yeah.
That's a hi-fi.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a high-fidelity
This
sound
was not.
system.
It was not conducive to having fun at all.
Dude,
I did.
what view? You could see the cactus and the coyotes.
Oh, isn't that good?
I fucking love it.
You loved it so much you moved states.
I would listen. I could
Look
get
at
a
this.
house
I mean,
there.
come on. That's. We're starting to
Tim,
get crazy.
you're talking to the wrong guy. I love
I know.
this house.
I know.
I love the chairs. Well, listen, I don't
Look at the
believe
chair.
in-
Look at that chair.
I don't believe in backs to chairs because I have good posture. Look at how I sit.
I left 4 dishes, and these people treated
Why
me
the fuck didn't you just clean those 4 dishes and we'd have no
because
problems?
I'm paying a massive cleaning fee. This
Why-
is because I
Maybe
speak.
they will let you back on.
I would imagine not. I violated some safety protocol. I don't know.
Which protocols?
The safety one.
Which one is the same?
The one where you can't threaten to burn down people's homes, I think. I spoke to my lawyer. He said to just leave it alone. My lawyer was like, just leave it alone.
Yeah, so it's funny that Joe didn't even have his back on this because, I mean, Tim is kind of out of line here. You know, he's trying to make it some, like, political thing, too, and make it about cancel culture. Like, he kept bringing up how the owners are lesbians, and he said they probably hate him because he's conservative or something. And he kept trying to make it sound like he was canceled by Airbnb. But, I mean, what do you really expect? If you're going to be threatening the owners on there, I'd imagine you're probably going to get kicked off. But also he kept saying that the house was fat phobic, and he kept saying the owners of the house were stealing Native American culture, which sounds exactly like something a social justice warrior would say. You know, going to a house after you've seen what the pictures are like and seen what the chairs are like, and then calling it fat phobic because you don't fit in the chairs. I mean, that sounds like something Tim would make fun of. And also during this podcast, he mentioned the cactus that was broken, and he said it was broken when he got there, so it sounded like somebody probably did break the cactus. I don't know how, but they managed to find a way. So it sounds like Tim was just being a big baby about the whole thing. You know, like he really just couldn't clean up after himself. I understand the cleaning fee thing is stupid, like paying $300 or $400 for a cleaning fee when you're expected to clean everything, I think is dumb. But also, I feel like if you're going to somebody else's house, you should just be expected to clean up after yourself. Like if you're staying at a place and you're cooking up beans that explode everywhere and then you have a bunch of dirty dishes, even though Tim's acting like it's just a few dishes, which if it's just a few dishes, then that's even worse. Like you really can't just clean a few dishes, but it is obviously, I'd imagine, pretty messy. So I think to leave it like that and just expect some cleaning crew to take care of it all is kind of a dick move, and Tim just sounds entitled here because I don't think many other people have had this problem. Like it sounds like Tim was the worst guest they have ever had by far, and you know it's bad when Joe can't even defend it. Like he clearly thinks Tim was out of line, but Tim's lucky that he's funny enough and able to make Joe laugh and kind of turn this into a bit and goof on it, because if this wasn't funny and it just seemed more serious, it would have been a bad look. Like telling somebody you're going to burn down their house because you got a bad review on Airbnb because you're a slob and you refuse to clean up after yourself sounds pretty unhinged. But since he was able to get people to laugh at it and kind of turn into a bit, then his fans were supporting him. You know, like even I remember when I first heard this, I just thought it was funny. I didn't really think too much about it. But now looking back on it, it does seem like he was just being a dick. And he obviously got a little carried away with it. I mean, he would have been fine if he just accepted the review and then maybe talked some shit on his podcast. But he got way too worked up, and it ended up him getting permanently banned, which he was really pissed about. You know, he made it sound like he's going to go even harder at these lesbians. But I think his lawyer, this is when he told him to take it down a notch. So I think he ended up deleting this post. But at this time, I think he was basically living at Airbnbs. So him getting banned was really bad news. And now he absolutely hates Airbnb and he talks shit about them any chance he gets. And he's just waiting to see them fail.
Airbnb is weird and creepy. We used to check into Airbnbs that we were almost certain a guy was like there several minutes before he checked in. It was really weird. And we also felt a few times that they had entered the house when we weren't there, when we came back. Airbnb is a criminal organization. A lot of disgusting people are renting their homes on Airbnb. They're voyeurs, they're spying on you, and they're potentially dangerous. This is the reality. This is no joke now. Airbnb has gotten away with a lot for a long time with this, and I think people have to start understanding how vulnerable you and your family are when you go to an Airbnb. A lot of the people who Airbnb out their homes are sick. They're sick. They're rapists, they're pedophiles, they're murderers. And the reason that they're trying to ensnare you in their disgusting home is so that they can kill you and your family. And that's why I'm not saying it's a bad business model. I'm just saying that 50% of the ads have dropped 50% because 50% of people want to live.
Yeah, so the whole Tim versus Airbnb saga is hilarious. And even though I thought he was out of line, at least he made the whole thing pretty funny. And I think Tim finally bought a house, but I can't imagine what that cleaning crew has to deal with every day. You know, I doubt Tim ever cleans up after himself. But let me know what you guys think about the whole thing. Let me know if you think Tim will ever get allowed back on Airbnb, or let me know about any of your Airbnb experiences. You know, maybe you've had similar ones. Let me know what you guys think about it all down in the comments on Patreon, and then hit the like button on Patreon, and I'll catch you at the next video.